How do you really describe a place you've never been? Well, today we're going to try. We're about to take a journey to three of the world's most incredible landscapes, from the peaks of the Himalayas down to the floor of the jungle and across the huge plains of Patagonia. We're just going to use words and images to take us there. So right off the bat, look at this. On the one hand, you've got this enormous valley, just cradled by these towering snow-covered mountains. And on the other, a tangled, chaotic, and just intensely green world. I mean, two totally different sides of our planet right there.
They feel like they couldn't be further apart, don't they? So just for a second, take a guess. Where in the world do you think we are? Let's start with that first picture, the one with the mountains.
Okay, time to solve the first part of our little puzzle. For that first photograph, we are heading way up into the mountains to a world that honestly feels like it's living above the clouds. We're going to the Himalayas.
So this incredible place, it's Manali, a town nestled deep in the mountains of India. You can almost feel that crisp, thin mountain air just by looking at the photo, can't you? It's just a place of staggering scale and, just profound beauty.
What's so cool is how the source material uses language to really paint this picture for us. It doesn't just say, there are mountains. No, it says there are towering snow-capped mountain peaks, and below them, dense forests of pine trees. You can almost see the water flowing in shallow streams of clear mountain water, winding right past these gentle wooded slopes and through fertile apple orchards. You see? Those specific words build the entire scene in your head.
And the climate there is every bit as dramatic as the landscape. Summers are described as being pretty mild and wet, but in winter, everything changes. Temperatures just plummet below 0 degrees Celsius, and heavy snowfall blankets the whole region. Now, this is a huge draw for tourists and skiers, for sure, but also means the area can get completely cut off from the rest of the world. And the skies? They're often cloudy, which just adds to that majestic kind of moody atmosphere.
Okay, now take a deep breath with me. We're about to make a huge shift. We're leaving that cold, clear mountain air far behind, and we're plunging into a totally different world. A hot, humid world, hidden under this thick canopy of leaves. We're going deep into the jungle.
And here it is, our second photograph. This is a tropical rainforest, or as it's also called, a jungle. The difference is it's immediate, it's overwhelming. This is a place that's defined by one constant, relentless struggle, the fight for sunlight.
So how does a place like this actually work? Well, the trees, they grow these incredibly thick trunks, but they have surprisingly shallow roots. Their canopy is so dense that very little sunlight ever actually makes it to the forest floor. And so, in response, the plants down below have evolved to grow these huge leaves, just desperately trying to catch every little bit of light they can. It's a world that's just teeming with life, from tiny insects on the dark forest floor to monkeys way up in the bright canopy above.
And the climate here? Well, it is the absolute opposite of Manali. It's always hot and humid, rain falls nearly every single day. The source actually describes this incredible daily rhythm. You wake up at dawn to a perfectly clear blue sky, but by mid-afternoon, like clockwork, the heavens just open up and it pours. Nighttime temperatures stay warm between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius, while the day just soars above 30. It's like this constant, steamy embrace.
All right, for our third and final stop, we're going to switch things up a bit. We're moving from just describing a place to joining a very specific quest. Let's head to the vast, windswept landscapes of Patagonia on a search for some fleeting shadows.
This part of our journey comes from a travel article by a writer named Laura Holt, and her mission was super specific. She wasn't just there for the famous glaciers or the dramatic peaks. No, her goal was to find one of Patagonia's most elusive residents, the puma.
Of course, with only about 50 pumas in a national park that's the size of a small country, the odds were not in her favor. All they had to go on were rumors. But wow, what incredible rumors. The article tells of recent sightings of a mother with her cubs, and get this absolutely startling tale of a young puma cub that somehow wandered through an unlocked door and into a hotel. Can you even imagine that at check-in?
So, Laura and her guide are out there, they're scanning these immense plains, and then it happens. A single moment of pure adrenaline. As the source describes it, a fleeting shadow sent a bolt of excitement through us. This was it. This was the moment they'd been waiting for.
The moment itself was all about tension and speed, just a quick, breathless exchange. Laura asks her guide, Felipe, "Puma?" And his reply, "I think so."
It was over in a flash, but the thrill of that possibility, it was just electric.
In the end, that fleeting glimpse was all she got. But she realized something that didn't matter. The search itself was the whole point. The quest for the puma made her study every single crag and cave, every bush and boulder, in this vast land with an intensity she never would have had otherwise.
So we've journeyed from the Himalayas to the jungle and all the way to Patagonia. Let's zoom out for our final section and see how all of this connects to a bigger idea: the way we use language itself as an explorer's most essential toolkit.
I mean, to truly share these experiences, we need the right words. Think about it. Was the stream in Manali shallow, or was it deep? Is Patagonia a wild place, or is it cultivated? Were the slopes gentle, or were they steep? Each choice creates a completely different world in our minds. Words are the tools we use to build a landscape for someone who isn't even there.
And what's really fascinating is how these physical words from our landscapes get embedded in our everyday language as metaphors. We don't just talk about a literal mountain, the source points out. We talk about having a mountain of work, right? Which just means a huge amount of it. Our physical geography literally shapes our abstract thoughts.
And this brings us to our final thought. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does the landscape where you live, whether it's a city of concrete canyons, or rolling farmland, or a coastline, how does that environment shape the words and the metaphors that you use every single day? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this journey.